Hey guys, Lenny Turner here, back today with something a little bit different for you guys. Today I'm going to be teaching you beginners out there how to master the power chord. And by doing this, I'm going to teach you an awesome riff that involves power chords. It's a song called Rock You Like a Hurricane by a band called the Scorpions. If you play Guitar Hero 3, you'll definitely know this song. And yeah, it's just so many famous riffs out there involve these power chords, and I know when I was just learning guitar, I really struggled with getting your fingers in the right position and etc, and I'm just hoping that I can improve your power chord playing a little bit by getting you to practice this riff. So let's get into it. I'll just move the camera a bit this way so you can see what I'm doing. And the riff that I'm going to be teaching you goes like this. Okay, a nice easy riff for you to practice at home. So the power chord, what is a power chord? Well, in this case you start off with an E, and the power chord is basically, so you play the tonic note, which in this case is an E, and then you play the fifth above it, which in this case is a B, and then you play a high E again. So, okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to put your first finger on the 7th fret of the E string, and then you're going to put your third finger on the 9th fret of the D string. But this is the tricky bit, you need to keep your first finger in position. So with these first two notes, okay, and then your pinky is just going to slot behind your third finger on the 9th fret of the G string. And then if you play really press down on these notes, and then if you play them together, you get a power chord. Okay, and this is a little trick that I like to use. I'm just going to move this back a bit so you can see my right hand as well. The trick I like to use is obviously if you just play everything open. In this case it sounds fine because I'm in standard tuning, but let's say you played an E flat power chord, which is exactly the same position but moved down a fret, and you play all the strings. It doesn't sound pretty at all, does it? So what I like to do, I like to mute every other string that I'm not playing, and I'm going to teach you how to do this. Notice that your second finger isn't doing anything, it's just kind of there. So what I like to do, I like to use that to mute the bottom E string, and what muting is, you're not pressing down on it firmly, you're just literally just touching it, so that when you play it, no sound really comes of it, okay? And then to mute these two strings, the ones, the higher strings, now this is really tricky, you need to practice this a lot. The string, sorry, not the string, the finger that you're using to play the E string, or the E note I should say, the 7th fret of the B string, you're going to bend it slightly so it's muting these two strings. So look at my first finger, it's quite flat, isn't it? So it's playing this note but it's muting these, okay? And if I'm arching it like this, it's not muted, but if I'm flattening it a bit, flatten it enough so it's pressing down, the tip of your finger is pressing down on the 7th fret of the B string, but it's kind of at a slant, so it's just touching these two strings, so it's muting. And then if you do that whilst your second finger is muting this, you get this sound, which I think is such a good pure power chord sound, for lack of better words. It's just these three strings and nothing else. And you really need to practice on pressing really down hard on the strings that you're playing and just touching the other strings that you're muting. It'll take practice, guys, but you'll get there. Okay? And then, so after you've played that 3 times, you're going to move down to the G, which is exactly the same position. Your first finger on the G, third finger on the 5th fret of the A string, and then your pinky just behind it on the D string 5th fret. And notice you don't need to mute anything with this, but you do need to mute the other strings with this, so you need to flatten it down a bit. Okay? Then you play that twice, and then move up to the 5th fret. Notice that the position doesn't change. Your hands are in the same position, your fingers are in the same position all the time, you're just moving between frets. So you play this 3 times, then down to the G, up to the A on the 5th fret, and then you play back to the original position, you play it on the C, which is the 3rd fret of the A string, and you play this once, and then up to the 5th fret of the A string on the D. So once more. And there we go, guys, that is the intro of Rock You Like a Hurricane. Just a little introduction to power chords, and if you practice this for 10 minutes a day, I guarantee you by the end of the week you will master power chords. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.